Hello everyone, welcome back to my mentorship program. I am Anna. You may have watched the other videos, but this is actually going to be going over this back to school mini setup. And we are going to talk about how to put one together on a budget, because in business you have to learn how to do things on a budget in order to make more money. So I want to talk about that today and really help you all on your journey, whether you already have a photography studio or you are going to be renting somewhere or doing it out of your home, or even doing them outside. So let's go ahead and get started. So you can kind of see behind me this desk. I'm really liking this setup, this desk and everything. I knew I wanted to go with kind of a retro vibe, but not too retro, because I still wanted it to, the kids' outfits that come in and get photographed, I still wanted them to kind of look normal with it. But I knew I wanted the retro desk, at least the color of it. And I used this Rust-Oleum paint. So you can see right here what kind of paint I used. And it really barely took any of it. Like, I bought the whole can, and now I'm thinking of other props that I can spray paint with that. So this desk was only $10. So I got on Facebook Marketplace and I looked. There happened to be one right here in my own town. She had a bunch of desks. She had like over 20 or I think she might have had 25 desks, and I just needed one. So it was $10. It cost, I think, $8 for the spray paint, maybe a little change. But it cost $18 for the desk. And it cost, let's see, the chalkboard is actually, I think that cost under $30. So let me go ahead and explain the chalkboard real quick. So the chalkboard is a green. I'm hoping it shows on the camera, but it can appear like a really dark green or a black. It is a dark green. It's paint that I used to have on this wall behind us. I had like a shiplap wall that I had built, and I had painted it a dark green and made like a porch scene. And that was cool for a little bit, but you know, we get tired of a certain scene and we want to change it up, and that's why I want to help all of you learn how to do things on a budget. That way you can keep your scenes really fresh and seasonal, and even recycle some of the things. So that same wall I'm talking about, I had done the green, and then I painted it and did a white shiplap that I used for kind of an old-timey back to school mini session. But so this paint I already had. So you might already have green paint. You can even get green spray paint, or even a small container of green paint. And even hardware stores will have like what they call mine calls it a oops paint, where they accidentally mix the color and the customer didn't like the color, and they will sell it at a cheaper price. So sometimes I will do that as well. But this is a marker board on the other side that I got at Lowe's, and so I just used the back part of the marker board and put this trim around it. So the trim is like trim you would buy, I guess, for your house, but it was $14 for, I think, an 8-foot, 7 or 8 foot, no, I think, pretty sure it was 8-foot long trim piece. And you can tell it's about 2 inches wide, or 1.5 inches. I'm not good at measurements, but so I just took the measurements of the chalkboard, went a little bit over to make this frame. My oldest son cut the pieces for me, And then these little pieces right here are leftover pieces that were from where we cut the trim. So I used every bit of trim. So the trim cost me $28. The marker board thing was something I already had. Another chalkboard I've used in the past, I built it with drywall and pallet wood. So that one really cost me nothing because I already had the drywall, I already had the black paint, and I already had the pallet wood. So that basically cost me nothing. And another thing with these chalkboards is if you use like a flat or satin paint, you don't have to buy chalkboard paint specifically. You can use sometimes what you already have on hand, or I mean, you're not gonna continually use it. You're only gonna use it this one time and maybe again next year, but you don't have to use chalkboard specific paint. Now, moving on to like the decor items, you just simply need some books, you need some crayons, you need some pencils. One year I even had one of those erasers that pencil sharpeners that are old school that you manually do yourself. I like to throw in like a cool Polaroid camera because my clients' kids love to play with those. And then you might get like a pre-K kid in here that doesn't really even want to do photos, but their big siblings have to do them. So they're in here and they just want to play with blocks. So this whole container of blocks I got at a yard sale for $2, and no other toy would get played with more than that. Kids love that. And this year, so there have been years in the past where I've done the little letters that you plug into the little board thing. I don't know what that's called, but I have done that before. And sometimes I've done like a small chalkboard where the kids can write their grade that they're going into. I like to see it in their handwriting because it makes it look cute. But like this year I did this sketch pad, which I already had because I like sketching. But you can see like my, second grade, you can have them write second or fourth grade. So it's fun for them, and it gives you kind of like an interactive photo for it. And so that's pretty much it. That's just a good idea of what you can do for a back to school mini. Don't forget, you can have a back to school session outside. It doesn't have to be inside. But get creative and think, like maybe you're already buying crayons for your kids and you can use them here in your back to school session before. I've even used the apples, an apple for a teacher kind of thing. So, a lunch pail, think of things like that. One thing I've always wanted to do is have like the old school bell. I think that would be really cute. But get creative and paint. Paint can go a long way. Back to the chalkboard real quick before I get off here. I used wood glue, and I used the clamps that I used on my newborn beanbag where I do the newborn photos. I used those clips to hold it in place, let it dry overnight. These little railing things right here, I used wood glue as well, but I also used some hot glue in there to hold it standing up. So the hot glue basically was holding the wood glue for me. So anyway, that is all I needed to share today. I hope that encourages you. If you've never done a back to school mini session, try it this year. Even if maybe school has already happened and already started in your area, offer it anyway, because there's a lot of moms that they didn't get a chance to get in time to other photographers, and you might be the one that gets to help them. So maybe give me some comments on how you've done your back to school mini session. Drop some comments to help the other people watching form a community here, and let's get creative. Have a blessed week. Bye.